Most sleep advice focuses on routines, environments, and habits. But what if sleep isn't actually controlled by any of those things? Parents come in all the time saying the same thing. So we've tried everything: earlier bedtimes, blackout curtains, white noise, supplements, and still, your child is awake for hours, even when they're clearly exhausted. Now here's what's really important to understand. Struggles with sleep, that's not a behavior problem. It's actually more of a nervous system problem. So your child's ability to fall asleep, stay asleep, and get truly restorative sleep is controlled by how well their nervous system can shift out of stress and into calm, regulated state. So when a child is stuck in that wired and tired pattern, it's not because they're fighting sleep or being difficult. It's because their body is having a hard time just slowing down. And this is where so many parents feel stuck, because there isn't a routine, a supplement, or perfectly designed sleep environment that can override a nervous system that is locked into fight or flight mode. So this video is for the parents who feel like they've done everything right and are still watching their child struggle to sleep. So today we're going to break down why sleep is so important and what it actually does for your child's brain and body, why the nervous system is the real driver behind sleep, how what we call the perfect storm can disrupt sleep from the very beginning, and then most importantly, what neurologically focused chiropractic care does differently to help these kids finally settle, rest, and restore the way they're designed to. About 1 in 3 children in the United States are not getting enough sleep. So that means millions of kids are waking up tired, they're going to school exhausted, and trying to function every single day, already running on empty. And what's so striking is how consistent the story is behind that number. We hear it from families every single week. They've tried everything they've been told to do, the routines, the schedules, the supplements, and their child is still exhausted, still wired, and still not sleeping the way that they should. Because what most parents have never been told is this: the problem isn't actually starting at bedtime. Now, like we just talked about, sleep is controlled by the nervous system. And when that system is stuck in stress mode, the challenges you're seeing at night are just the surface. So for many kids, this pattern started long before bedtime routines even entered the chat. So let's shift how we think first about sleep. Now, most parents think of sleep as rest, like the body just shuts down and recharges. But the truth is, sleep is one of the most active, productive, and important periods of your child's entire day. So while your child is sleeping, their brain is reorganizing everything they experienced that day. It's strengthening connections and storing information so that they can learn and they can grow. And then at the same time, their body is releasing growth hormone, especially during deep sleep. So when we say it seems like kids grow in their sleep, that's not just a saying, that's actually happening. Their immune system is also at work, producing the cells needed to fight off illness and keep them healthy, which is why when sleep is off, we often see kids getting sick more frequently or having a harder time bouncing back. And that's also true for you moms and dads. Sleep is also when the brain processes emotions. So when big meltdowns and sensitivity, the emotional ups and downs so many parents are seeing can often be traced back to the nervous system that hasn't had the chance to reset. And then underneath all of that, the body is repairing, it's regulating hormones, and restoring energy so your child can wake up ready for the next day. So when sleep is disrupted, it's not just about being tired, it impacts everything. And that brings us back to the nervous system. Because this is the piece that most families have never even really thought of or considered. Sleep can be supported by habits, but it's controlled by the nervous system. Your child's nervous system has what we often describe as a gas pedal and a brake pedal. Now, the gas pedal drives alertness and stress. Think go mode. And then the brake pedal allows the body to slow down, to relax, and fall asleep. For sleep to happen, the brake has to engage, and the key player in that process is my favorite, cranial nerve number 10, the vagus nerve. Now, when it's working well, it allows the body to shift out of stress and into a calm, regulated state at bedtime. But when the nervous system is disrupted, especially that vagus nerve, the communication between the brain and the body is also disrupted. Now, in chiropractic, we call that nervous system disruption, our word for that is subluxation. And when subluxation disrupts the vagus nerve, sleep is typically one of the first things to become an issue. Now you have a child who is completely exhausted, but their body won't let them settle. It's that wired and tired feeling, like their system is stuck in go mode, even when everything in them needs to power down. And at this point, it's not about trying harder at bedtime. It's about what's happening inside the nervous system. And for many kids, this pattern didn't just start recently. It started much earlier than most people even realize. And this is what we call the perfect storm. So it's the combination of stressors that begin building, often early as pregnancy, and continuing to layer over time. Stress during pregnancy can shape how a baby's nervous system develops before they're even born, making that stress response more sensitive from the very beginning. Then you move into birth. We have interventions like inductions, C-sections, forceps, vacuum extraction, or even prolonged labor, which can create tension in the upper neck, right where the vagus nerve enters the brainstem. And then that matters because the system responsible for helping your child regulate, rest, and sleep, from there, early childhood stressors begin to add up. Antibiotics that disrupt gut health, chronic constipation, reflux, frequent illness. These aren't just isolated symptoms. They're actually signs that the nervous system is already under stress. And then over time, this can lead to dysautonomia, meaning that the autonomic nervous system, it's not regulating the way it should. And one of the very first places that shows up, you guessed it, is sleep. Before behavior challenges, before focus issues, before anything else, when sleep stays disrupted long term, the effects don't stay contained to nighttime, they start to show up everywhere. We see kids who look like they have attention issues, hyperactivity, or impulsivity, but what we're often really seeing is a brain that is completely exhausted and trying to compensate. We see immune systems that can't keep up, leading to a cycle of constant illness, more medications, more disruption, and even worse sleep. We see learning become harder because the brain hasn't had the chance to properly process and store information. And we see emotional regulation just kind of fall apart. Those big reactions, those meltdowns, those moments where everything feels like it's just too much. That's not a behavior problem. That's a nervous system that is running on empty. And over time, chronic sleep disruptions can even impact mood and mental health because the body simply doesn't have the capacity to keep up with the demands being placed on it. So when you zoom out and you look at the full picture, sleep is not a small issue. It's foundational to everything your child is experiencing. And that's exactly when the approach to helping these kids must be different. Now, neurologically focused chiropractic care, it's designed to address this at the source. Through very gentle, specific adjustments, we work to remove those interferences so the nervous system can start communicating clearly again. Now, when that happens, the body can finally shift the way it's supposed to. The gas pedal and the brake pedal begin to work together instead of against each other. And then the vagus nerve can activate properly, allowing your child's body to settle, to fall asleep, and stay asleep. And one of the things that makes this approach so different is we're not guessing. We use our insight scans to see exactly how your child's nervous system is functioning. We can measure where the stress is, how significant it is, and how it's impacting their ability to regulate. And what we hear from parents over and over again is that sleep is often the first thing to change. Then comes better digestion, fewer illnesses, more emotional balance, and better focus. Because once the nervous system starts to regulate, everything else begins to follow. At the end of the day, sleep isn't just about getting through the night. It's the foundation for how your child grows, they heal, they learn, and show up every single day. So when sleep improves, everything else starts to follow. You see it in their mood, in their focus, their health, and how they feel in their own body. So if your child has been stuck in that wired and tired cycle, I want you to hear this clearly. This is not something that they're just going to grow out of. And it's not something you've done wrong. It's the nervous system that needs support. And there is a way to help it shift. If you're ready to stop guessing and start getting real answers, our team at E320 Chiropractic would love to walk alongside you. You can reach out through the link in our bio. You can send us a message, or you can give us a call to get started. Because when your child finally sleeps, everything changes for your family.